The WNBA recently admitted something big. After 2 years of denying it, ESPN and league leaders finally said that Caitlin Clark is the main reason for the league's huge success. Her impact brought in millions of dollars. It was not Angel Reese or veteran players who complained about attention. The numbers clearly show the truth. Clark did more than help the Indiana Fever. She helped raise the entire WNBA and kept the league from slipping into mediocrity. The real question is why it took the league so long to admit this.
It's because of Caitlin Clark. When she came into the league, the Indiana Fever were third last in attendance. And then when Caitlin Clark came into the league, they're immediately number one in attendance for the next 2 seasons. And then you look at somebody like Angel Reese, when she came into the league, the Chicago Sky were actually top 3 in attendance the year before she got there. And then when she came in, they're in the bottom 5 in attendance the next couple years. So that's why I say, like, yes, we can give praise to some of these younger players. They have been great. They have a lot of fans who ride behind them. But when it comes to just elevating an entire league, it has been just one player, and the numbers prove that.
While league leaders quietly met behind closed doors, they had no idea a college player would soon help save the WNBA. In February 2022, serious talks were happening because the league needed money just to survive. Growth was not the focus. Staying open was. That same month, the WNBA secured $75 million by selling 16% of its ownership. This was not a celebration or success story. It was financial support to keep the league alive. The money was meant for basic needs like marketing and daily operations, things strong leagues already have.
Continued to February of 2022. So this was when the capital raise was announced. A capital raise featuring new investors and existing WNBA and NBA owners brought in $75 million that was used to supercharge the WNBA's business growth, including better marketing and more innovation. And this is when we talk about the split, you guys, and why it's very hard for players to get more of a revenue share than what they're asking for. 42% of the WNBA is owned by the WNBA, 42% is owned by the NBA, and 16% is owned by this investor group. Now, looking back at it, you guys, the WNBA was not doing well in 2022.
Those boardroom meetings were about survival, not success. League executives talked about avoiding team shutdowns because some teams struggled to draw fans. TV ratings worried officials, and the NBA had to step in to help. Private investors joined in expecting only small returns. No one was dreaming about billion-dollar media deals or rapid growth. The league was valued at $1 billion, which sounded strong, but they were selling ownership just to stay running. These talks were not about expansion or big plans, but about keeping the WNBA alive and relevant.
Might have been a decision that they felt like they needed to make in order to continue the league, like in order for the league not to fold, in order for, like they said here, to supercharge the business growth, to include better marketing and more innovation.
At the same time, Caitlin Clark was already breaking records in college basketball at Iowa. Her games pulled in huge TV audiences that were much larger than most WNBA games. She created the kind of excitement league leaders wished for during their money troubles. While executives were focused on just staying afloat, Clark was showing what real growth could look like. Investors believed they were buying into a stable but limited league and expected slow, modest returns over time. Every plan was cautious, and growth goals were kept small. No one imagined a college player could change the league's future so quickly. Marketing talks focused on small improvements and reaching current fans better. Growing the audience in a big way felt unrealistic, and social media plans were about maintaining interest, not rapid expansion.
April 2024, Caitlin Clark drafted into the WNBA spotlight intensifies. So the spotlight went from being this like little tiny cat laser light to literally one of those spotlights when a criminal is on the run and they're like doing this to try to find the criminal on the helicopter. You guys know what I'm talking about? That's what happened to the spotlight. It got that much bigger and that much brighter on the WNBA, and I'm really glad that she mentions it here. It's just Caitlin Clark. It's always been just Caitlin Clark.
Clark's arrival completely changed those cautious plans. A league that once needed emergency funding suddenly became must-watch television. Games that used to struggle for attention began selling out arenas nationwide. TV networks started competing for broadcast rights instead of treating WNBA games as filler. Clark turned a survival strategy into a booming sports business worth billions. The 2022 fundraising effort became the base for massive success. Investors who expected small, steady returns suddenly became part of a major sports phenomenon. The league moved from barely staying stable to becoming the fastest-growing pro sports league in the country. This rapid change forced league leaders to face a hard truth about who was driving that success.
Yes, there are other great young players who have come into this league, but it has truly been the Caitlin Clark effect. Even if you look at the viewership for Iowa this year, the viewership for Iowa in the past couple years, even after Caitlin Clark departed, there are still people that are tuned into Iowa when Iowa was never at the top of the viewership numbers. It's because of Caitlin Clark.
ESPN executives finally admitted what many fans already believed, but the question is why it took them 2 years to say it openly. The answer became clear with a historic 11-year media rights deal worth $2.2 billion. Disney, Amazon Prime, and NBC Universal did not pay that money because of Angel Reese or veteran player complaints. They paid for the audience Caitlin Clark brings. The deal averages about $200 million per year, a huge increase from past contracts. Network leaders openly pointed to the rise in viewership and fan interest driven by Clark. Her presence turned the WNBA from background programming into must-watch television. So why did league officials avoid giving her credit for so long? Several reasons likely played a part. Some executives feared backlash for focusing too much on one player. League politics mattered, especially as veteran players pushed back against Clark getting most of the attention. But denial may have been the biggest reason.
It's the Caitlin Clark effect for a reason. And Alexa Philippou says here, she says the fanfare Clark received from college carried over to the WNBA, which saw a historic year in attendance, viewership, and other key metrics. While Clark was a driving force of the sport's rise in popularity, other college stars such as fellow 2024 draftee Angel Reese and more recently 2025 #1 pick Paige Bueckers also brought significant followings to the WNBA. And I will agree, they brought significant followings, but some of those followings haven't translated to viewership and attendance.
Admitting that one rookie helped save and transform the league is uncomfortable for leaders who have run it for decades. Interview. The success of the media deals left league leaders with no choice but to be honest. When networks are paying hundreds of millions because of Clark's ability to draw viewers, it is impossible to say the growth came from the league alone. ESPN executives had to credit Clark publicly because their business partners were already acknowledging her impact privately. Her presence completely changed the WNBA's negotiating power. In 2022, the league was asking for investment just to survive. 2 years later, it was negotiating confidently as multiple networks competed for its games. That change happened because Clark turned casual viewers into loyal fans who watch and attend games. The league's plans clearly shifted as well. Conversations that once focused on basic survival turned into talks about expansion, new teams, and international games.
Kind of also seen that in Unrivaled. And I'm not saying that all of the viewership woes in Unrivaled are because people aren't following Paige Bueckers. Like, I don't think the product is that great either. But we've even seen when Caitlin Clark goes golfing, that's higher viewership than Unrivaled. Literally whatever Caitlin Clark does, there's a lot of eyeballs on her, and no other player has that kind of gravity. Like, no other player.